fine free. Studies that show that the folks of lower income found an impediment to paying fines or doing the things that wouldn't be necessary to get that information, get that technology, get that learning experience from the library. So the library has gone fine free to further their mission of providing information and ideas for all. They've also introduced non-traditional learning and fun kits like STEAM kits, outdoor activity kits, and they have a seed library where you can donate seeds to the seed library, or you can take other seeds and go home and plant your garden. This is an effort to have community gardens, and the library supports you in that non-traditional library thing. If you haven't been to the library, it's changed. The way we went to libraries and Dewey Decimal Systems and card files, I'm telling you, it's all different. And our library stands at the cutting edge of doing things new and innovative. The super big stuff has been great too, like the concert series, summer reading program, and Discovery Fair. All had record numbers last year, some better than the pre-pandemic numbers. So at least get to some of these. I'll see you at the concert series. My wife and I love going over and listening to music on Thursdays. Get out there and enjoy the cool things the library is doing right there at the Learning Campus on Faith Field. Now, I told you that they joined the world of TikTok. They've got an ever-increasing amount of followers, all kinds of kids. They're laughing over here in the corner because we said it couldn't be done, and the library's doing it. They are TikToking, whatever that means. And I don't know if you do it, I don't do it, but kids are doing it, and they love going to the library. And that's the group we're trying to capture, the late grade school, middle school, and high school kids for the library. Got all kinds of programming for them. Get them off the streets in between when mom and dad come home and the end of school. Great things happen at the library, and we're pleased with their work. This council, the whole time I've been here, has said public safety is number one. We will make it number one. We will put money where our mouth is, and they have. Look at how many firefighters we have hired recently. 2 in October of 2022, 3 more in 2021, and 3 more in 2022. You can see the chart at the bottom. We now are full staffed everywhere. We're doing the best we can to ensure the safety of everybody in our community. The calls have gone up 8 to 10% over the last 3 years. Mostly those are medical calls, which makes good sense because our population is rising at 1.5% or so per year. The value of the homes is rising at least 5 to 7%. So as you grow, it makes more sense that you're going to have more people who need some of those services. And this city council has made this fire department and this police department a priority, hiring 16 new officers since August of 2018. We're looking to hire 2 more. I think that is open right now. Am I right, Kathleen? We're still open. We haven't closed that timeline. So if you know of anybody who would be a good police officer in Bettendorf, especially if it's a person of color or a female, we would really love to hear from you. Get those folks to our LinkedIn page. You can go to bettendorf.org. There's information there. There'll be some testing, and then there'll be some interviews, and we're going to hire 2 more police officers and put them on the streets as soon as they're trained properly. The cool thing is we've gotten a lot of new young faces with great new ideas, and we're very proud that we have 43 of our 49 officers with some sort of post-high school education. Both the fire and the police department believe that's important. It's important to have somebody who's had to go to class with people who don't maybe look like them. It's important to have them living on their own, becoming more experienced in maybe the ways of the world. We find that those folks who have got some educational experience or maybe some military experience really can be a better officer earlier in their careers. So this is important for us to take a look at, and by proof of that, look at some of the awards that have been won. Officer Caitlin Stays was awarded the Optimist Club 2022 Respect for Law Award. Officers Tripp and Hansen received the Honorable Service Award for their activity in trying to save someone who was suicidal on I-74. Officer Lance Wilden received the Honorable Service Award for his quick response to a subject suffering a heart attack. And Officer Neil Chapman received the Honorable Service Award for his quick response to a person suffering from a drug overdose. So all kinds of positives that come out of the great folks in our public safety. Again, something council's made a #1 priority. Take a look at this slide. As growth happens, community development is busy. That's what this means to me. Over 4,000 permits. Again, we're at single family home averages around 150. Lots of new commercial, lots of new apartment buildings. What that means is when the developer comes in or the builder and they bring a plan, we have to review it. We then have to make sure that it fits code, city code and state code. We then have to go and make sure that they're building it consistent with the plans that meets state and city code. There's lots of activity in our community development. Mark Hunt and staff do a great job, but this is a lot of work for those folks, and one of the things that we were trying to do moving forward is give them some help in the form of a person. As we talk about the budget, we don't think that's going to be happening this year. Here are our top 10 public work projects. These are our capital improvement projects. You see Forest Grove, top 2, a lot of that's federal money, but that's very important for us to traverse our community and get our visitors into Bettendorf safely and efficiently. You see our obligation of the I-74 corridor, and you see our 23rd Street resurfacing project, which is just around the corner. We've had some changes in public works. Brian Schmidt and his staff have tried to be more efficient and safe in our collection of your solid waste. No longer will we provide a 32-gallon tank. If you've got one, we'll still pick it up weekly, but we've moved to 64 and 96. That's because the arms on these trucks pick those up, and people were shoving too much into 32, and then we'd have to get out, and we're not efficient that way. And one of the things that we have to be, under the budget constraints that we have, is efficient. Forest Grove and Middle Road, we've got phase 1 done. Phase 2 started yesterday. That intersection's being torn up, and it's going to go through this year and into next year. 23rd Street, from Lincoln to Middle, is going to get done. The Lincoln Road interchange will all be redone, so there'll be a time when that's closed. We're going to widen 23rd Street to put a turn lane into the landing near Middle Road, so that's going to happen, and it's going to be a hot mix asphalt on top, just like Middle Road, so a very smooth driving surface there. This all leads up to 2025, when the Iowa Department of Transportation has moved into their 3rd year of a 5-year program, the compressed diamond interchange there, which will make it much safer. If you ever tried to get on I-80 going west to Iowa City or Des Moines, it's really difficult right there. It's pretty scary. This will be much safer, and we're pleased that our friends at the Department of Transportation have listened to our concerns and moved it up. Thank you to all of you who had a hand in that. Last year, Public Works and Community Development did something really cool. You can go to this website and figure out all of the construction projects. You can click on it. It's interactive. We had a GIS consultant work on it. So you can click on the project. In fact, we have a page, or a microsite, if you will, developed and used for only the project by TBK Phase 2. So Forest Grove and Middle. You can go to this is a good snapshot, but you can click on these things. It'll tell you what's happening, how long the construction will be, all these detours, anything you want to know about a project. This is a really cool thing. Get on our new website. There's so many cool things happening there. We talked a little bit about our aging playground structures and how we did one at Devil's Glen, and we're going to do one next year at Meyer Park. That's continuing. This is the urban park underneath the bridge at I-74. Phase 1 is done. Phase 2 is under construction, or we're going to let that out, so we're going to have that completed around 2024. This is a great spot, and it's working really well, just as we wanted. That's going to be your connector from downtown to the West End projects and to the riverfront access. So this is really cool. We continue to work on this. You probably saw that the elevator went from about $2.2 million to over $4.6 million. With the changes being made in our state capital to our revenue through property taxes, we're not in a position to put that on the front burner. So we've pulled that for now. We'll continue to talk about it. But at this point in time, this park is going to be really cool, and we'll continue to talk about the elevator and some other things when we get to our budget. The old bridge is coming down in sections. You can see that happening around you. So they're going to continue to do so. They'll be careful of the environmentally sensitive areas, especially the Mississippi River, so we won't be dropping stuff into the river. There may be some explosions on either side on land to bring down concrete and stuff in the future, something cool to look at. But you can see that progress happening all the time. So now let's take a look at moving forward. What do we expect, especially in our budget? Well, this city budget demonstrates the city's flexibility to handle those legislative changes as well as the inflation we all face, okay? It will take advantage of our continued growth. We grow at about 5% in the 100% valuation. So residential property taxes in Iowa get rolled back from 100% to something less than that. We'll talk about in a minute. And the levy rate the city applies to that for the revenue to do all the great things we do only applies to the rolled back number. We get that number from our friends at the state in October, and this year we built a budget around what they told us, which they changed last week. So we're gonna work on this budget that continues to be an obstacle, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but this budget will do all those things we talked about doing: the comprehensive plan update, cybersecurity initiatives, Parks and Rec master plan, sewer infrastructure projects, the IT master plan, and the financial system replacement. We got a 30-year-old financial system that needs to be replaced, and we'll all be on a nice, more efficient system. So the innovation of the city continues. So let's talk about this impact of the change. So in October, we were told that the rollback would be 56.49%. So in other words, the mean house, $272,723, at 100% taxable value, we would see a huge revenue increase over what the state will roll it back to 56 or so percent. Apply the 56% to the $12.65 on the levy, and you get the revenue to the city to do everything we do. They said, okay, we made a mistake in how we calculated that. We were wrong when we told you we're going to roll it back to 54.65%. What that meant to Jason Schatt, our finance director, and all of our department heads is we just lost $912,000. In our budget, that's a lot. Now what? We can respond, but there are more changes. Another one they changed was commercial property tax, which is rolled back at 90%, so much higher than residential. But now the first $150,000 of value in your commercial building is taxed at the residential rollback at 54 or so percent. So that's another $330,000. So from version 1 to version 2, we're out $1.2 million. How can we respond? Well, we can reduce what we were trying to do, right? We can make cuts. We can try to find extra income, gaming or sales tax, or possibly grants, but that's not enough. We can increase the general fund through increased permitting fees and things like that. We're going to take a look, but that's not enough. We could increase the property tax levy, but this conservative council has never wanted to do that. They only do that when they must, so we don't want to get there. So let's take a look at the impact and the fees on our residential payers, and here are your three current versions of a budget. Now, with these changes, the state did give us until the end of April to certify a budget instead of the end of March. We were hoping they may give us until next year, but they didn't. So the first version of the budget came out, and everything everywhere, the city's tax levy rate stayed the same, and the residential rollback was 56.4919. It would have cost the mean house of $272,000, almost $273,000, $8.82 per month. Now, with a change in the residential rollback, that's going to drop to $3.32 per month. So less than a cup of coffee. Budget 3 is an increase of a nickel on the levy, and you can see what a nickel on the levy does. Not much. $3.32 to $3.93. So this is a real struggle for this council, but we're going to find opportunities, and we're going to make good choices. We'll figure it out. Because of the change in the commercial property, that $150 being taxed at residential rates, this is what would happen. We all are going to save money on our $1 million business commercial building. That's great, but that revenue to the city goes down, so we have to do more with less, and we have to find ways to grow to take care of our population. So version 2 and 3, you're about $50 less per month on that $1 million building. So here's where we take a look at the highlights of the budget. We're still at $12.65 here. It is possible that that moves to $12.70 or even higher when we continue our budgeting. We had a great budget that we all approved, and usually when I give this talk, I can tell you what the budget is, but not this year. So we've got some things to do. We're very fiscally sound. We have other places from where we can get money. We have a rainy day fund. We are fiscally sound. It's the budget moving forward based upon the revenue and the spending that has to fit that revenue for next year. So that'll be a challenge. But if you take that $273,000 mean home from Bettendorf and you plopped it in our other 3 cities, sorry gentlemen, I still love you, but this is my favorite slide. You pay 20% more in Davenport, and certainly our friends on the other side of the river fight with their legislature more than we do. And those are my words, Reggie and Mike, my words, not yours. And they get stuck a little bit harder. So it's still the best value, and we're very proud of that. Staff needs to be able to have that shown, because that's who does that work. Looking forward, we've hired Jeff Ryder as an assistant city administrator. Who knows if this Mr. Plain character is ever going to retire, but he's starting to think about talking about it maybe someday. Our new commercial development at the TBK Bank Sports Complex is awesome. Iron Tea is going to open at the spring of 2024. We've got more restaurants coming, especially in the downtown. If you haven't been to Yoso, get over there. It's fantastic. Obviously, Verde, Trattoria, Sporties, all those things that have been there forever, we thank them, but we've got some new offerings, including a Thai restaurant coming, some renovations coming to Duck Creek, this Malibu Jacks indoor amusement park, if you will, kind of interesting. We're seeing more people work from home and the redevelopment of those office spaces into cool things throughout town. We're going to punch the sewer through under I-80 so that we can start to move forward for some growth area and possibly even some voluntary annexation into the city. And we're going to use the CP rail money to develop those quiet zones throughout the downtown as best we can. That's what you can look forward to in the very near future. And so, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to our team who put this together. Thank you to Lauren Haldeman for your great work over the years. And of course, she is hiding someplace, in plain sight. But I do appreciate everything you've done. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you who are partners in the room, and that's all of you. Whether you're here supporting Bettendorf, the city, the community, one of these wonderful organizations like the BBN, the Rotary Club, Kiwanis, or the Chamber of Commerce, thank you. I'll stick around if you have some questions afterwards, but we're right on time, so I got to get you guys out of here. Have a great day. Thank you for being here.